Wow. Good morning and welcome to a Friday. It's the second day of February. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Steve Hare, and today a special program, of course, in recognition of this very special day, the second day of February, always recognized and designated as Groundhog Day. And I'm joined in studio by my fine furry friend, Wenatchee Will, who's just in from Greens Knob along the Wenatchee River, and he's here to join us on this special day. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Steve? Happy Groundhog Day.
He's doing his best impression of Dan Koontz, who couldn't be with us today, and in his place, Wenatchee Will is joining us as our guest host today.
So. And right out of the box, Steve, I got up this morning from my hibernation and I didn't see my shadow, Steve.
So what's that mean?
Well, 6 more weeks of winter, Steve.
Six more weeks of winter.
Okay. I apologize for that.
I thought that we got rid of all of you guys here several years ago in front of the old Top Food store, but you know.
Well, that's why I moved up to Greens Knob up near Chelan.
Oh, okay, so you've been hiding out up at Greens Knob. Tell us about your winter and how it's been going so far.
Well, I hibernate, if you don't know. I'm a groundhog, so I basically have a big meal and get all my body fat picked up, and then I go to bed for about 4 months, and I bring my body temperature down to about 35 degrees, and my heart beats about every 10 seconds, and I just sleep winter away. And then they drag my rear end out on this stupid day so I can predict the weather.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you, I'm pretty upset about
it. So tell me about the family. A little bit about yourself there, Will.
Well, I graduated from Greens Knob High School. I was valedictorian of my class of 1. And I am related, by the way, to Punxsutawney Phil.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, we're cousins.
Is that right?
Yes, we're cousins.
So you've been to Punxsutawney.
That's where we have our family reunion every year.
Okay, all right.
But we're not idiots. We hold it in July. It's just so much easier.
Well, Wenatchee Will be joining us. In fact, he'll be doing the interview with Art Checker and the Wenatchee Wild here in the second half of the show. And of course, we have all of our regular features today, including the Mike Magnotti. Everybody's entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. We have your sports, obscure holidays, birthdays, and significant dates in history. That's coming up a little bit later on, and of course I'll have all of your local news as well. But first of all, let's take a look at some of our Sky-Fi cams around the valley this morning, and we're going to start out with our shot from Jump Off Ridge, looking down on the Wenatchee Valley right now. Jump Off Ridge, and as you can see here, we starting out our day, a little bit of new snowfall, about maybe a quarter inch at the most here on the valley floor, but considerably more up in the mountains, and they're expecting more snow, as a matter of fact, in the Cascades through the weekend. In fact, last night we had some avalanche control work up on Stevens Pass, US Highway 2. That has been concluded. The roadway is now clear. But again, you can expect winter driving conditions in the passes this weekend, and we'll tell you more about that coming up in a few minutes as well. Again, there's our image from our Sky-Fi cams looking down on the Wenatchee Valley from Jump Off Ridge. Moving on to our next camera, which is looking down from Rude Canyon in Douglas County towards Waterville there, which is underneath, it looks like a cloud layer right now there. There to the left of that little ridge is where Waterville is located. And again, Rude Canyon. Beautiful little shot there, isn't it?
Yes, I have many cousins who live up there in Rude Canyon as well.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
They don't go to the reunion though.
What side of the family?
Mother's side.
Mother's side.
Mother's side.
All right, okay. Turning now to our next camera, Billy Goat. One of my favorite shots normally, but you don't see much under the cloud layer this morning, but somewhere under the clouds there, Pateros, Brewster, and Bridgeport with the confluence of the Columbia River and the Methow River. But again, as you can see, we have a pretty thick layer of clouds this morning, greeting us on a Friday morning here before the weekend. And Punxsutawney Phil, of course, in Pennsylvania this morning for Groundhog Day, saw his shadow and quickly went back into his burrow. Meaning that we're going to get 6 more weeks of winter, and I guess you would agree with that, Wenatchee Will?
Yes, that is the case here in north central Washington. I love my cousin Punxsutawney, but he's got a bit of an ego problem. I mean, obviously he gets all the attention on February 2nd, and there are those in the family who just don't much appreciate that.
We used to do a big thing here in the Wenatchee Valley with Groundhog Day. I can remember Barney, who's probably one of your relatives as well, and he's probably somewhere in
Barney is in
Groundhog Heaven.
He's in
now.
Groundhog Heaven. Yes, he is.
Unfortunately, we lost him. Hey, let's go back to the cameras again. I digress. I believe our next picture here is from your home.
Yay! That's where I live.
Knob.
Woo-hoo!
Of course, Punxsutawney Phil, normally they have the big Groundhog Festival in Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania, but you've made your home in Green's Knob. And,
It is actually, it's in the union contract for those of us who predict the weather in the Groundhog Deal. We have to live in a knob.
Can you explain to me what a knob is?
Well, you use it to open and close doors most of the time. So that's what I use my knobs for. Anyway.
Okay, all right. I love this. This is a lot of fun. Anyway, let's take a look at our weather forecast here for the Wenatchee Valley. And again, we're looking at a mixed bag of tricks here as we get into the first weekend of February. In fact, for today, we are looking for about a 20% chance of rain. Started out as snow this morning, but again, temperatures expecting to warm up to about 45 degrees when all is said and done under mostly cloudy skies today. We may get some sun breaks, but don't expect too much there. We could see a little breezy conditions as well as this frontal system exits the area. Winds could gust as high as 24 miles an hour this afternoon, so watch out for that. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, a low around 37 degrees with wind subsiding to about 11 miles an hour sustained out of the northwest. Saturday should be mostly sunny, so it'll be a beautiful day. In fact, we have a polar bear plunge that's taking place tomorrow down at Walla Walla Point Park. Are you going to be down there, Wenatchee, Will?
No, as soon as this show's over, I'm going back to hibernation.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, Saturday night, increasing clouds, a low around 38. By Sunday, there's another chance of rain sometime in the morning. Should be mostly cloudy with a high near 51. And then as we get into next week, mostly sunny skies on a Monday with a high near 51 degrees. In fact, continuing very moderate temperatures throughout the week. Temperatures mostly in the upper 40s to lower 50s, daytime highs, with nighttime lows dipping there into the mid to upper 30s. So that's what we're looking at weather-wise here in the Wenatchee Valley over the next 3 to 5 days. Meanwhile, up in the mountains, we're expecting to see snowfall for the most part all weekend long. Starting out this morning as snow, then turning to rain. And that's going to mean some winter driving conditions in the passes. Again, Snoqualmie Pass we're looking at right now with no restrictions currently. And if you switch your picture now to Stevens Pass, we can look down at Stevens Pass right now, which has a traction tire advisory in both directions. And it's snowing right now over the top. Blewett Pass looking pretty good for this time of the day. Mostly barren, wet roadway conditions, and that's always good news. Traction tires are advised, though, over Blewett Pass at this time. And you can expect, again, varying amounts of snowfall and rain over the passes throughout the weekend, and that weather condition is expected to continue right through Monday night. So, again, if you're planning any travel over the Cascades this weekend, go prepared for winter driving conditions.
You know, Steve, looking at the photo of Blewett Pass, it's not easy for me to look at that because it brings back a pretty bad memory about, well, my cousin Michael.
Your cousin Mike, what happened to Mike?
Well, he was crossing that highway late one night and he didn't look left and he didn't look right and he didn't see the station wagon car and, well, Michael got squashed and there you are.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's too bad. So obviously didn't survive that.
No.
Who's he survived by?
His wife and 97 children. We are very prolific in the groundhog family.
By the way, how are you doing? You want us to let you out here for a few minutes so you can?
No, I'm feeling good. I just, like I said, at 8 o'clock I can go back to hibernation. So.
I'm actually sitting on top of his litter box right now, folks. So thanks for that. I appreciate it. Hey, so where's Dan?
Dan's taking the day off. He's off today. He's off all the time, truth be told, but he's not in today. And he called me yesterday and he said, you know, Will, if you don't mind, I'd like to take Friday off and get a 3-day weekend in. And it is your day. It's Groundhog Day. Can you come in and, you know, do the show for me and interview Arch?
So you do have some interview technique then, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we trust that you can handle that. And I'll leave Arch to deal with you later. Okay. Right now, I got to get to my newscast.
Yeah, Steve, why don't you get to your newscast? Why don't you do that?
Well, we can do that right after our short commercial pause, and when we come back, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley continues with your local news.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by LocalTel. Kashmere High School Drama presents their final weekend of performing the musical Hello Dolly. Show dates are February 1, 2, and 3 at 7 p.m. The Red Cross Blood Drive is at Pybus Market February 2 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. To register to donate, visit redcrossblood.org. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
I'm Dr. Ron Singleton. See how Ideal Protein can help you.
I started Ideal Protein about 10 months ago. I'm down 123 pounds and a little over 50 inches.
Using Ideal Protein, I've lost 37 pounds in just 10 weeks.
I lost over 52 pounds in 4.5 months on Ideal Protein.
This has been a wonderful journey. The food is great and it's a very easy program to follow.
This medically designed program has repeatable, safe, and effective results. Call us today to schedule your weight loss consultation.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'll be joined again by our groundhog friend and co-host, Wenatchee Will, a little bit later on. But first of all, let's take a look at our local news around north central Washington on this second day of February, a Friday. Following a 4-month investigation, the Douglas County Sheriff's Department makes an arrest in connection with the 2017 stabbing incident in Bridgeport. Sheriff's Office reports the arrest of 23-year-old Don Crow on charges of first-degree assault. Stabbing occurred back on September 24th when officers were called to Three Rivers Hospital in Brewster because a male had been admitted there with a knife wound. Now, the investigators say a fight had occurred at a residence on Fairview Road in Bridgeport. That's where 21-year-old Victor Valdivinos Vasquez was stabbed. Vasquez was then flown to Confluence Hospital in Wenatchee for treatment. Crow fled the scene and was arrested Thursday of last week in Yakima. He's charged with first-degree assault. He's currently being held in Okanagan County Jail. Also, a Northeast Washington lawmaker continues his crusade to change the way gray wolves are managed in Washington state. House Representative Joel Kretz from Wakanda co-sponsored the legislation that, if passed, would direct the Department of Fish and Wildlife to relocate or translocate wolves to another part of the state to reduce conflicts in areas where known interactions have resulted in injury to livestock or dogs. Kretz testified this week at a House committee hearing on HB 2771.
So what I'm throwing out to this committee, this is our charge, ag natural resource issues. And it's easy to say, gosh, this is scary, this is controversial, we're just not going to do anything for another year. And I don't think, there's some bright people up here. We've got to start coming up with some solutions on this instead of sticking our head in the sand and hoping it stays far away from us. So I'm just going to throw that challenge out. We've got this bill. I've got lots more sitting around here and there, X-filed, different places, different titles. I don't care what we do, but let's do something. You know, let's look for some solutions that work all the way around. I'll sit down with Defenders of Wildlife and Humane Society again anytime. I mean, they've actually been pretty proactive in trying to find solutions that work for everybody, but I can tell you right now it's not working in northeastern Washington. We've got to take it serious. We've got to do something. Anything you guys want to do, I'm really open. There's a lot of different directions that we could go to make a difference, but we do not have time. You know, I keep using the word urgent, but it is a war zone over there right now, and it is going to blow up, and I can't stop it.
Now, gray wolves are designated as endangered by the U.S. Department of Fish and Wildlife. There are currently 13 packs located in mostly northeastern Washington. Republican leadership in the state legislature adamantly opposed to Democrat Governor Jay Inslee's call for a carbon tax. Inslee says it would generate revenue, help create new clean energy jobs, and reduce the effects of climate change. But House Minority Leader Representative Dan Christensen said creating a new tax will not accomplish those goals.
The proposals before us, I mean, if the Democrats want to move forward on a 20-cent gas tax increase, an 11% natural gas increase, a 6% utility tax increase to do something that to create a lot of money, $3+ billion over the next few years, but really doesn't get it at the meat of the matter that they say is the actual problem with carbon, with comparison to a bill that our own Republican members have worked on in a bipartisan way, which actually incentivizes folks, people, companies at all levels to actually reduce their carbon footprints with that to me is, comparing what I've referred to as tax rich and policy poor on most of the proposals we've seen down here, where the proposal we have is policy rich and very low on the tax end, if any. It's an incentivized plan, and what's interesting too is if you look at the bills, especially the one that Richard DeBolt put forward, many folks from the environmental community have endorsed his bill because of the fact that it is actually going and incentivizing folks rather than just penalizing folks.
Meanwhile, a ballot initiative back in 2016 would have established a carbon tax of $25 per metric ton failed by a wide margin, winning in only one of Washington's 39 counties, mostly liberal King County. Wenatchee Valley now has an option when it comes to recycling batteries, computers, etc. It's called the e-waste program. Local business is putting that forward, and NCW Live's Megan McPherson has more.
We are part of the e-waste program for the Wenatchee area. So we recycle anything from televisions, computer monitors, towers, laptops, and cell phones. We also recycle anything that's battery related, alkaline batteries, NiCad batteries, lithium batteries, and automotive batteries. Everything that is rechargeable lithium is all free to recycle, but alkaline we do charge $1.10 a pound. And that's just because it takes care of the shipping process for the alkaline, because they do get recycled properly. They don't just end up in a landfill somewhere. And automotive batteries we actually pay people for. We pay $6 currently for automotive batteries. Commercials are $8, and then bigger stuff is about $14 to $15.
Okay. Is it just batteries that you recycle, or do you recycle TV parts or computer parts?
We also recycle computer parts like the towers or the monitors. No keyboards, printers, nothing like that. Just the main items.
Okay. So do people need to worry about erasing any memory on the computers when they bring them in, or is that not something they need to worry about?
They don't need to worry about it because once it gets down to the recycling yard in Seattle area, they take care of all that. Mm-hmm. So they bring a big magnet over the top, and then it just kind of fries everything that's on the computers. A lot of people do like to erase their own stuff though, so we encourage it, but you don't have to worry about it, no.
Okay. How about cords? Do you recycle those?
Yeah, you can bring in your cords.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the process if somebody has something that they want to recycle? What's the first thing that they do?
So you just have to come into the shop and let us know that you have something to recycle. You'll fill out some paperwork just saying where the item's coming from, your information, and then we would redirect you to the back of the building, and then we could help you unload it. We've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now. We've always been recycling batteries for a long, long time, but the e-waste part of it we just started a few years ago.
And how much do you recycle in a month typically?
A lot. Usually about maybe 15 pallets a month of TVs and laptops and towers. We're here every day. We're here Monday through Sunday. Monday through Friday is 8 to 6, and Saturday and Sundays we're 9 to 5.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Megan with NCW Life News.
Yesterday at the Red Lion in Wenatchee, the Rotary Wenatchee Club celebrated its 97th anniversary. And in addition to the luncheon, hosted a panel of local medical professionals where they dispelled myths about hospice care. Jay Seebeck was there to cover that story.
Today is February 1st, and for Wenatchee Rotary, it's a special day. It marks the 97th birthday of the club since it was founded here in Wenatchee. To get the party started, President Don Myers had this.
I looked at the charter that Frank posted on our website, and the date on the bottom of the charter is February 1st, 1921. What is today? Today is our birthday.
But the story today wasn't about the birthday of the club. Actually, they were having a very special meeting with several local doctors about the importance of hospice care. Retired medical professional and oncologist Dave Nodder had this to share during his presentation.
Hospice, facts and myths. Now, why is that important? You know, it's important because, first of all, here's a program that is clearly, no question, the best program for health care delivery that Medicare has. It is the best. It was set up to be the best. It has remained the best for several reasons, one of which Steve alluded to, this interdisciplinary structure that it has. There's nothing like it. It's not the same as any other system of healthcare delivery that Medicare has. So, if it's so good, why is it underutilized? So that's the talk. Well, it's underutilized mainly because it's misunderstood. Hospice is not all about dying. Number two, hospice is not about giving up. It's about changing your hope, not giving up your hope. Three, it's not very useful at the end compared to what it would be if it was able to function earlier in the patient's course. 1/3, 1 week. 1/2, 2 weeks. Take that away. That's exactly the same as the national figures. We are no better and no worse. That's really an indictment of the misunderstandings of hospice that our society has. Number 4, you only can live 6 months? No, of course not.
So for more of you with family members or loved ones that you are interested in what is the next option, be sure to check out that hospice care. And for more information from the meeting today, make sure you tune into the NCW Life magazine in the coming weeks. With NCW Life News, I'm Jay Seebeck.
And closing out our newscast, and welcome back to Wenatchee Will on Groundhog Day. Here he'll be joining us in a few minutes, right, Will?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm excited about it.
I can tell you are. Just jumping up and down. Can you jump up and down, by the way?
It's quite painful.
Okay, all right.
It's a condition. I don't want to talk about it on TV.
We'll close out our newscast this morning. The Washington State Special Olympics Winter Games hopes to raise money this weekend with the 18th annual Polar Bear Plunge in Wenatchee. Saturday event at the Walla Walla Point Park Swimming Lagoon is putting on with the Wenatchee City Parks and Rec Department, along with local law enforcement. You can register starting at 10 a.m. On site with the plunge slated for noon. Last year's event raised over $10,000 for local Special Olympics athletes. The Winter Games will once again be held in Wenatchee starting in March at the Town Toyota Center and at Mission Ridge Ski Resort.
You know, Steve, I've changed my mind.
Go ahead. Well, Wenatchee will?
I've changed my mind. I think I might actually just stay awake all weekend. I was going to, go back to bed at 8 because, I hibernate.
There's too much to do.
Well, I've heard a lot about your newscast, Steve. Is it worth staying up and watching tonight at 5 o'clock?
Well, that's debatable.
Okay.
But I would think so. You bet. You bet.
Well, I think I might do that.
You look a little gaunt anyway. I think you should probably, feed up a little bit.
Well, I'm awake now, and instead of going back to sleep, what I think I'm going to do is this, Steve. I think I'm going to stay up for the weekend. I think I'm going to watch the news tonight with that Grant Olson guy. I heard he's just a yummy-looking kind of guy.
He is. He's a great guy. 5 o'clock news. In fact, Grant Olson will be our anchor for the evening news today. Of course, you can get all of your news. Everything we reported today is on our website at ncwlife.com. We invite you to go there to get all of the information. In fact, pass conditions, very important this weekend. So stay up to date with the latest on the Cascade passes by logging on to ncwlife.com.
Steve?
Yes?
I can't log on. I don't have opposable thumbs. What do I do?
That would help.
Yeah.
That would help. I'm sorry, I can't keep a straight face, folks. By the way, there's any number of ways you can contact us. If you see breaking news happening, call us on our hotline at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. You can also give us some suggestions on story ideas by contacting us from our website. You can also contact us via email at news@ncwlife.com. Also, continue to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. We'll have more coming up in a few minutes on our Wake Up Wenatchee Valley program. And Wenatchee Will, my co-host today on Groundhog's Day. Next up, our sports reports.
Woohoo!
When we come back. Welcome to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for this second day of February.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
RLS Productions is proud to bring to the NCW Life channel the Concerts in the Garden Summer Series held at Omi Gardens. The series features performances from Rare Earth's Peter Rivera, Heart by Heart, Too Slim and the Tail Draggers, The Infinity Project, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, and a whole host of other great acts. Tune in Wednesdays at 1:30 and 7 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. RLS Productions Concerts in the Garden Summer Series, only on the NCW Life channel.
And we're back here on February 2nd, a Friday. It's Groundhog Day. Again, I'm Steve Hare, sitting in for Dan Koontz as your host of the program today, along with my special co-host on this special day, Wenatchee Will, the Groundhog. Hey, nice to have you on board, Will.
Oh, by the way, I want to apologize for my personal hygiene. Since I'm normally hibernating, I haven't bathed in a number of months. My bad.
So you a big sports fan?
Love sports.
Love sports.
Love sports.
Gonna watch the Super Bowl this weekend?
The what?
The Super Bowl.
The what?
Who's your team this weekend?
Oh, I love the Browns. They're my favorite team. Well, I'm brown.
Oh, that's right. You are brown.
I'm brown, so I love the Browns. They're my favorite team.
Okay, all right. Okay.
They're playing, right?
Yeah, they are playing, as a matter of fact.
Woohoo!
Somewhere, but not in the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
Now let's get into sports, local sports this morning. Eastmont Bowlers had a great first day at the State 4A tournament at Narrows Plaza yesterday. In fact, after 6 individual games, the Wildcats lead in the team scoring by 407 pins over second place Rogers of Puyallup and 433 pins ahead of third place Thomas Jefferson. Meanwhile, Eastmont placed 4 bowlers in the top 10. Alicia Hastings placed 3rd, Emal Montoya 5th, Rebecca Main 6th, and Samantha Hines at 8th place. Hastings, the Big 9 bowler of the year, had a 188 average over 6 games, finishing 106 pins behind titleist Christina Harris of Rogers. Meanwhile, also congratulations to Wenatchee freshmen Kyla Hankins and Hannah Johnson. Hankins finished 10th, Johnson 17th in their first ever state competition. 4A title will be decided today with 14 Bakers. Be sure to follow our Facebook page for the latest as we track Eastmont in its bid to repeat as state bowling champions. Also on the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard from last night in girls basketball, for the 7th time this season, Kashmir held an opponent to under 25 points in a game, this time downing Chelan 77-14 to wrap up the regular season. Also last night, the Entiat girls flexed their muscles and continued undefeated in Central Washington 2B play with a 69-24 win over second place Pateras. Manson stopped Oroville in a low-scoring affair, 29-19, and Waterville-Mansfield dropped one on the road at Lake Roosevelt by a score of 55-40. Meanwhile, on the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard in boys basketball last night, Kashmir finished the regular season on a winning note, downing Chelan 56-41. Pateras knocking off Entiat 54-46. Manson mauled Oroville by a score of 62-39. Waterville-Mansfield couldn't hold a 9-point fourth quarter lead and fell to Lake Roosevelt 53-50. Turning our attention to the prep schedule for the weekend in girls basketball. Tonight, Chelan is at Natchez Valley, Cascade hosting Okanagan at 5:45. Tomorrow, it's Easton at Entiat starting at noon. Wenatchee hosting Sunnyside at 5:45 in the afternoon, and Manson at Liberty Bell. Game starts at 6. In boys basketball this weekend, here's what's happening. Cascade travels to Natchez Valley. Cascade hosts Okanagan at 7:15 tomorrow. Entiat and Easton tip off at 1:30. Sunnyside at Wenatchee, Liberty Bell hosting Manson starting at 7:30. It's district wrestling time as well. In sports, the District 6 4A championships start today, wrapping up tomorrow at West Valley for Eastmont and Wenatchee wrestlers. Meanwhile, Cascade, Kashmir, and Chelan are in Omak for the District 6 1A championships tomorrow. That begins at 10 a.m. Oh, also, the Big 9 District Dive prelims are today, with the swimming and diving championships settled tomorrow in Moses Lake. Season is winding down for the Wenatchee Wild as well. Wenatchee has 10 games left in the schedule. Only 2 more at home after this weekend. Wild hosting Coquitlam tonight and Langley tomorrow at 7 o'clock at the Town Toyota Center. Art Checker will be joining us here second half hour of the program. We'll be in later to chat about the series on, again, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. So stay tuned for that, just minutes away. Finally, the football season finally comes to an end Sunday with Super Bowl. Which one is that?
L-I-I, I believe.
So what's that mean?
52.
I'm not good at Roman numerals. 52.
52.
Okay. U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis hosting the big game when the New England Patriots take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are 4-point underdogs heading into Sunday's 3:30 kickoff. Of course, you can watch it all on NBC, right, Wenatchee Will?
Yes, of course, and I will be glued to my television set.
For those of you just joining us, Wenatchee Will is my guest host today on Groundhog Day. And what are you, a groundhog or a marmot?
I believe I'm a member of the rodent family, but we try not to keep that under our belt, so to speak.
So you miss the old Top Food store? I know you used to graze on the
we used to
plant
hang around
sale
there
out
all the time back when the the Eddie Mays Inn, when it was the Eddie Mays Inn back in the 70s and 80s. We would hang around there by the river and eat leftover French fries. And
oh boy.
Of course, we're vegetarians here.
Vegetarian?
Yeah, no, we're all groundhogs are vegetarians except Steve. Tomorrow, I'm going to go to the Pybus Public Market and have me some chili tomorrow.
Well, normally this time Dan Kuntz, of course, runs down the obscure holidays of the day. So what is it today?
It's my day.
It's your day. Not too obscure though. And there's your cousin again, Puxatawny Phil, that we can see on TV right now. And,
I don't like him.
He's the official meteorologist for this day. But you're doing a pretty good job of it yourself there.
It would have been a lot easier if the Germans didn't take this tradition over with them. That's where the whole thing started, I just assume be asleep. I want to be asleep. But the Germans used to do this way back in the old days, and then when they immigrated, and they used hedgehogs, Steve, hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs?
And then when they moved to the New World, so to speak, and of course Pennsylvania was a huge German settlement, they wanted to continue the tradition of using hedgehogs to predict the weather, only there aren't any hedgehogs in Pennsylvania. But there's a lot of us, a lot of groundhogs, so they just moved hedgehogs to groundhogs and kept Groundhog Day going.
Okay.
That's
for
how
the
that
little
happened.
history lesson
Yes,
there
you go.
By the way, you do a great impression of Dan Kuntz.
He's a handsome guy, I'm told. I wonder if he's watching today.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll let him know. Hey, it's time for, what is it? Our
Today in history,
significant
Steve.
Dates in history
Yeah,
today. Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
that. I'm being prompted here by a groundhog. Go figure, folks. It was in 1876, 142 years ago on this date, that the oldest professional sports league in the world was formed, and that was the National League of Professional Baseball Clubs, the senior circuit, you might say, of the Major League Baseball. It was formed. Also, the charter members of that league, Boston, Chicago, Cincinnati, Hartford, Louisville, New York, Philadelphia, and St. Louis. So I guess the old Brooklyn Dodgers weren't in that first group, were they?
No, but your Dodgers, and I believe, Steve, if I remember correctly, my sources tell me you're a big Dodger fan, right?
I was, yeah.
Well, you guys did win the National League pennant this year, right?
They did, but that's as far as they went.
Oh, and they lost to the Browns in the World Series, right?
They choked.
Okay.
Yeah, right. 1922, significant date in history. Ulysses by James Joyce, published. The Ulysses novel chronicles the peripatetic appointments and encounters of Leopold Bloom in Dublin in the course of an ordinary day.
My good friend Dan Kuntz tried to read Ulysses, He's read all of the classics.
What does peripatetic mean?
It's, I believe, located between the spleen and the kidney, if I'm correct. Dan hates that book. I've read all the classics. Dan has read all the classics. We couldn't quite get through Ulysses. I don't get it. I don't understand
I read it through Classics Illustrated. So, yeah.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah.
Because it's got cartoons and stuff, right?
Well, let's move on, okay?
Okay.
Okay, next date in history would be 2004, just 14 years ago. Swiss tennis player Roger Federer becomes the #1 ranked men's singles player, a position he'll hold for a record 237 weeks. That's 4.5 years that he's been the #1 tennis player in the world.
That's pretty remarkable if you think about it.
That is, very much
pretty
so.
remarkable. We got some birthdays?
I do have some birthdays for today. 1895, George Halas was born. Now, we all know him as Papa Bear. He was an American football player and a coach of the Chicago Bears. He died in 1983 at the age of 88. Hollis's career ledger reads as follows: 63 years as an owner, 40 as a coach, 324 wins, 8 NFL titles as a coach or owner. His 324 victories stood as an NFL record for nearly 3 decades and are still far and away the most in Bears history. They are 3 times that of runner-up Ditka. He was a charter member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1963. Papa Bear, George Halas. Also celebrating a birthday today, Christy Brinkley, model, actress, former wife of Billy Joel.
Yep.
That's right. Illustrator. She's also a television personality, a photographer, writer, multi-talented actress, and also an activist for human and animal rights and the environment. Christy Brinkley turned 64 today. So those are your birthdays. Again, I'm Steve Hare, sitting in for Dan Koontz. I'm going to turn the show over to my friend Wenatchee Will, the groundhog, here when we return. He's got Art Checker coming in with the Wenatchee Wild, talking about the big weekend series coming up here. So Wenatchee Will, are you ready to take over the mic?
I love Art Checker, and he loves me.
He does, he does.
Yes.
I'm
ready to...
Look,
what?
Didn't I see you in a movie?
I was in Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
Yeah, I still get residuals.
Yeah, you played a gopher in that one, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
Well, you have to be able to be flexible.
What's the difference between a gopher and a groundhog?
A vowel, I think.
A vowel.
I'm not sure.
A syllable.
What about, do we still have McNaughty this morning, too? Is Mike coming in?
Mike's coming in next, as a matter of fact. Mike's coming in, and of course, you're entitled to his opinion every day here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and that's coming up next, right here on the NCW Live channel for a Friday.
My name's Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do the job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your Stoke?
Ladies of the Wenatchee Valley, do you know the secret of receiving the perfect gift for your birthday, anniversary, or Christmas? We have the answer for you at Collins Fashions. Come in and fill out a wish list. You can choose from beautifully crafted jewelry, handbags, and luggage from Brighton, stylish wallets and handbags from Lotus, cozy sweaters from Icelandic, zip fleece from Tommy Bahama, fashions from Joseph Ribkop, and Collins gift cards. Our little elves can contact your loved ones and share your wish list. Complimentary gift wrap and amazing service at Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, in grade school, I was taught that George Washington never told a lie. Really? Never? Not once? I was also taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America. No, he didn't. Eric the Red probably got here 500 years earlier, and it wasn't even North America where Columbus ended up. And here's a good one. Native Americans and pilgrims ate turkey on the first Thanksgiving. No, I don't think so. No, who makes this stuff up? And why did they cram it down my throat when I was too young to challenge them? And you want to know about another huge lie I was told? I've searched numerous people-seeking sites, many search engines, and I've looked all over the internet, and I can't find even one person named John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, let alone two. I say it's time to promote honesty and education. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing honey blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Thursday night, hockey night on the NCW Life Channel. It all begins at 7 o'clock with a call of the Wild and Clarkie's Corner. Then it's non-stop hockey action with the voice of the Wild, Arch Ecker. Join us as the Wild battle the rest of the BCHL. Thursday night is hockey night on the NCW Life Channel.
I'm happy to announce the second season of Life with Lisa Bradshaw. I'm excited to interview people in our community and throughout the country. I'm also taking the show on the road this season. Join us for Life with Lisa Bradshaw. It's not about my life, it's about yours.
Hi, I'm Eric Grandstrom, inviting you to join us for the Kashmir Valley Bank Royalty Selection Pageant live on the NCW Life Channel Saturday, February 10th, beginning at 6:30. Also on our website at ncwlife.com and on our Facebook page. Coverage brought to you by Auville Fruit, home of the WUWV brand, where passion meets flavor, and Bay Equity Home Loans, your home for loans. It's the Kashmir Valley Bank Royalty Selection Pageant live on the NCW Life Channel Saturday, February 10th at 6:30. NCW Life Channel, your home for local news, local weather, local sports, and local shows featuring local people covering local topics like Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Let's Learn, Street Talk and other stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life Channel, your local TV station.
And welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on this Groundhog Day. I am Wenatchee Will, filling in for our normal host, Dan Kuntz, who is off today. But this guy is the hardest working guy in the Wenatchee Wild organization. He never takes a day off. He's our guest today, and for the first time ever, I get to interview the legend himself, Art Checker, voice of the Wenatchee Wild. Hi, buddy.
How's it going there, Will?
I'm doing good. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say you're selling Dan short because he's off pretty much all the time. Well, I mean, not just a little off either. I'm talking way off.
Before we get into hockey talk, how's my good buddy Walt doing?
Walt, Walt actually had a message for you. Mm-hmm. He said to tell you, "Oh." Walt's doing great.
You look good. You look good, Arch. Before we talk about the weekend, you had a game on Wednesday. Kind of a surprise. Well, I guess we got to play. Well, you didn't personally, but
no,
the Wild did.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Well, remember back in November we had the Powell River Kings were supposed to come in and their bus broke down, and so what we did was we look at me when I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. So their bus broke down, so we had to reschedule the thing for well, it ended up being Wednesday, and it was a really it was a good game. It was a really good game against a really good team, and for the Powell River Kings, that's a team. They're just 2 points out of first place in the Island Division. And they brought it, but the Wild brought it a little bit more, fortunately. And we were able to come out with a 5-2 victory. You know what was really cool about that game, though? I'll tell you one thing that was really cool was Matt Dorsey, who was a local Wenatchee kid, right? Grows up here. When he was 14 years or so, or 15 years old, he ended up getting drafted into the Western Hockey League, went up to Calgary, and was playing for the Hitmen up there in the Western Hockey League. Of course, he's battled some injuries along the way, and he ended up, they decided that for his development, it might be best for him to be able to come back home. So Matt Dorsey is the first local Wenatchee kid to play for the Wenatchee Wild. He scored 2 goals on Wednesday night, and that caps off a pretty good week, because if you look at it, he was on Clarkie's Corner. He was the guest on Tuesday, scores 2 goals on Wednesday. So now I'm trying to figure out what he's going to do for an encore tonight and tomorrow.
Good for him. We love it when local boys make good.
Awesome. So, that just kind of set the table. Of course, the Wild were coming off a loss, which was pretty tough, and we're going to get into that in a minute, because last week we played against Merritt, and we won one and lost one. We had that loss on Saturday night, which was, well, as Coach Littler would say, that just didn't sit real well. And so the guys were anxious to be able to get back on the horse. And it was nice, because sometimes when you lose a tough game on a Saturday and you got to wait a whole week to be able to get back on the ice, and this time around, it really wasn't so bad, because you just get a couple days of practice and you're back at it. And the guys came out with an inspired effort and picked up that win, so that was nice.
Playing out on Wednesday didn't really mean much to the guys. Once the puck drops and they're playing, right? They don't really know what day of the week it is, right?
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you have the showcase tournaments and you're playing at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it doesn't matter. You're right. Once the puck drops, it's game on, and the guys actually they responded very well to the whole thing. So.
Did you bring any highlights with you, Arch? I love it when you bring highlights.
I did bring some highlights. We'll go back. You get a little something in your backside there. Poor Wenatchee Will. You're having a bad day. I know you'd really rather be asleep. I get it.
I think you would too, Arch, come to think of it.
Well, that's true. But you know what? I'm happy to be here. Don't get me wrong. Especially, this is my first time to share the screen with a rodent. So I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, I did bring some highlight packages, and I guess we can start off the first one. We played against Merritt. It was last Friday night. And it ended up being a thrilling overtime win. So let's see if we can roll those now.
Five on three, still has another 35 seconds left in it as Galambos enters. Touch pass was for Zach, but broken up. Here's a short-handed breakaway. Back the other way. Wicks in, he shoots, and a save made by Isley. A huge stop by Seth Isley. A 5-on-3 short-handed breakaway for Nick Wicks. And Isley got the better of him on the right side. Ahead and gathered in by Jacob Modry just inside his own line for the Wild. Over to Kent, shoveled ahead, tipped, and rattles off the glass down inside the Merritt zone. Stolen on the back wall. In front, shot by Stratton, and he scores! A broken play inside the Merritt zone. Sam Hessler pounced on it, flung it out front. And Stratton drove it home from point-blank range. 4 minutes and 31 seconds into the third period. The Wild are on the board. They lead it 1-0. By Roden on the redirect. 2-on-1 back the other way. Demon does a good job in the back check. Wicks in, shot goes low and wide. And off the end boards. Banked up off the boards. Played by Weatherby. Here come the Wild back through. 2-on-1. Weatherby with Souter. Weatherby to Souter. He's in. He shoots. Save made. Rebound. Score! Jasper Weatherby. And the Wild win it in double overtime.
That was cool. Yeah, double overtime. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, that was a big win for the Wild. That was their 5th win in a row, which set the high water mark. That was the most consecutive wins this season. We'd won 4 in a row a couple of times, and that one elevated the win streak to 5, which was cool. The following night, opportunity to go for 6, and we got off to a good start against Merritt, but Centennials were able to kind of battle back in that one, and we ended up just running out of time in the end. And
yeah, my good buddy Dan was there, and he went and got a beer between the first and second periods, and he sat down, and he goes, wait a minute, all of a sudden it's 2-1. What happened?
Well, see, you're selling Dan short again. I don't know if he just had a beer. He's still recouping. That's why you're here today, and he's not. But, yeah, let's take a look at those highlights from Saturday.
Half a minute remaining in the man advantage. Pass for Vanderbeck. Vanderbeck in, feathers it off the right boards, down low. Hessler wins the race to the puck. Gets a little help from Stratton. And then back to Zach, who swings it over left side. Demon backhand dish. It's to Vanderbeck. Back across. He tried to feed it for Zach. Broken up. Midpoint Demon. Shot, tip, score! Sam Hessler, I believe, got the redirection on the offering from Slava Demon up over the blocker's side of Berger. And the Wild score on the power play. They'll lead it 1-0. Puck drops to the near wall, pressed there. Shoveled down to the corner, played by Dorsey. Spins it in front, shot, score! Yes, Slava Demon! And then finished off by Weatherby. A minute 18 left to go, and the Wild trail by 1. I thought the shot initially by Demon went in.
So we split the weekend series with Merritt, but then we came back, as we mentioned, on Wednesday, Arch, and knocked off, was it Powell River that we beat on Wednesday? I forgot already.
Yeah, it was.
I'm a groundhog. I don't have much of a memory.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's not necessary.
What we're going to do, Arch, is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's happening tonight and tomorrow night at the Town Toyota Center. We're still in the middle of this long homestand, but it's now on the farther end. It's
This is
getting
the tail
closer
end
to
of
the
it.
end.
This is the last 2 games, tonight and tomorrow, so it's worth staying up for, Will.
I think I will. I'm up now. I might just be committed to stay up for the whole weekend. I can't wait to watch my Browns in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I'm Wenatchee Will on Groundhog Day. We're talking to Art Checker, the voice of the Wenatchee Wild. We'll be right back here watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Groundhog Day on the NCW Life Channel.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
So, how you guys doing?
My job starts in Portland in a month.
Can we find a buyer that fast? I think we're good. Our CBX app tells us who the best potential buyers are. We can pinpoint where the hottest prospects are located, right on this map.
2 cities over.
It even lets us set the most accurate price. Wow, it really does all that. It really does all that.
Well, help us pack?
We're working on that.
Hi, Brent Crowder here at Town Nissan. We've got exciting news for you. The all-new 2018 all-electric Leaf with 50% more range, lower price, and a car you don't have to wait for 3 years to get. This is the electric car you've all been waiting for. Come down and check one out at Town Nissan behind Costco.
Hi, I'm Eric Grandstrom, inviting you to join us for the Kashmir Valley Bank Royalty Selection Pageant live on the NCW Life Channel Saturday, February 10th, beginning at 6:30. Also on our website at ncwlife.com and on our Facebook page. Coverage brought to you by Merry Maids, Relax, It's Done, and Schmidt Electric, serving the West since 1960. It's the Kashmir Valley Bank Royalty Selection Pageant live on the NCW Life Channel Saturday, February 10th at 6:30.
53 minutes after the hour on this Groundhogs edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Wenatchee Will, the Groundhog, alongside the voice, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, our friend Art Checker. All right, Arch, we got just 2 more games left in this long, long homestand. 2 teams that we only get to see once a year. Talk about the weekend.
Well, we only see them once a year now after the division realignment, because last year the Coquitlam Express, who are coming in tonight, and the Langley Rivermen, they were both part of the mainland division. Of course, they still are. We've left that division and moved into the interior. So we've already been to Coquitlam, and we've already been to Langley. In fact, we took a fan bus to Langley, which was kind of cool. And the fans went nuts up there. So we have this promotion we do here at the beginning of the third period.
Oh, the dominoes thing.
Yeah, right. It's called Minute to Win It. And if we score a goal within the first 60 seconds of the third period, then an entire section is treated to a free Domino's pizza. So the fans that went to Langley, they took it upon themselves just to recreate that atmosphere. So when the third period started, they just went bananas and just started yelling and hollering and cheering. And all the Langley folks are looking around going, what the heck is going on? Because they had no idea what the genesis of the idea was. But at any rate, so Langley's going to be making their way here on Saturday. But let's start off with Coquitlam. So Coquitlam, you know, and I had never heard of the city of Coquitlam. I don't know. I mean, granted, I'm maybe not from Wenatchee originally, and maybe you hear of towns like that if you live up here, but Coquitlam is actually the 6th largest city in British Columbia. I had no idea. But that team there, just a few years ago, they were the champions. They won the whole thing not very long ago. But since the Wild have been in the BCHL, they've struggled. The Wild are 12-3-0 all time against Coquitlam and the Express. They're winless here. They've never won at Town Toyota Center. The Wild have beat them like 7 times that they've been here. But you know, that team that used to be sort of a punching bag, not so much anymore. You know, they had a coaching change recently, and it's interesting how things work out because, you know, the head coach they've had, Barry Wolf, he is one of the more celebrated coaches in Canadian junior hockey. He's had just years and years of great success, but for some reason, maybe they just needed a fresh look, and they had the coaching change, and now since they've had that, they've been playing really good hockey. And in fact, they played yesterday. They had a noon game on the road at Surrey, and Coquitlam won 6-0. That was yesterday at noon. So now they're making their way down here, and it's the only time we'll see them this season. So that's happening tonight. Now tomorrow, the Langley Rivermen come in. As I said, we were there once that I talked about. We won that game. We also played them once way back in September when we had the BCHL Showcase Tournament in Chilliwack. And that was one of those Sunday morning 10 a.m. games that we talk about, right? And we actually won by a shutout. Seth Isley got his first shutout of the season in that game, and we beat Langley 4-0. But that mainland division, remember last year, it was pretty much Wenatchee and Chilliwack all year long, just going back and forth and fighting for that lead. And actually, Wenatchee had it the entire season except for right around Christmas when Chilliwack overtook the Wild for about a week. But they were always right there. Even when we'd win a bunch of games in a row, you turn around and a point or two back, there's Chilliwack right there. Well, this year, Chilliwack's kind of fallen off the ladder a little bit. They are hosting the Royal Bank Cup this year, so they've kind of got the automatic in to the ball, so to speak. But you know, it's been Langley and Prince George who have really been at the top of the heap there. And so Langley, obviously, they're playing some really good hockey, and they've got a lot of kids that are committed to really good schools. You know, we talk about our Slava Demin a lot, and they've got a kid named Brendan Booty who's also committed to Denver. They've got another Angus Crookshank. So they've got some guys on that team that know how to bury the puck, and so they're going to be a very formidable foe as well. So that's Saturday night. Now, Saturday night is also Faith and Family Night for us here. And if you call our offices, we've got some deals set up that can help benefit your local church. We've got group tickets. We've also got a bunch of pastors that are coming to play broomball. Now, that's always fun. Now, you think about your place of worship, wherever you happen to go, and you may or may not see your pastor or father or whoever out there on the ice during one of the intermissions playing in a broomball tournament. Plus, as if all that wasn't enough, well, you get the great hockey game. But we're also introducing something called Hockey Bingo, and it's kind of fun. So what happens is you come in the door, and if you choose, you can buy a bingo card for $1. And on that bingo card are several things that can happen throughout the course of a hockey game, like you know, a high sticking penalty, you know, an icing call, puck out of play, just, you know, wild score in the first minute of a period, those kind of things. So all these different squares. And if you get, I don't even know how it's all set up because Daryl was working on it, but you know, if you get bingo in a straight line, that will get you a prize. If you get the X, then that's a prize. And if you black out the whole board, that's a prize too. So, and they're really cool prizes. Like, and it's the first person to win. Like the first person to get the blackout, I think it's like a signed jersey or something. So it's really legitimate.
Are Gophers allowed groundhogs? Can we participate?
Well, they are if you can handle the dauber. But again, I think you've already confirmed the lack of opposable thumbs there. You just got these little mitts. So I don't know.
But you know what?
Good luck.
I may not have thumbs, but will you give me a hug, Arch? You're kind of an attractive guy.
Yeah, you're a good little guy.
Say hi to Walt for me,
Whoa,
okay?
You can levitate.
Yeah. Woo!
Oh, my goodness.
Everybody have a great Groundhog's Day. We'll see you at the Town Toyota Center. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. I love you, Arch.